Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Scares. That's right, we're moving right along on our daily journey through the nightmares with the second film in the Candyman land of films with Candyman Farewell to the Flesh. Candyman Farewell to the Flesh takes place 3 years after the first film, where a teacher gets thrown into the urban legend of Candyman when her brother gets arrested for murder. But as we're all aware, he's innocent, as the Candyman is really to blame. But wait, there's more, as she may have discovered a way to end the Candyman curse for good. Alright, we're back in the land of Candyman, and as I was actually a massive fan of the first film, I couldn't wait to see this one. And honestly, that was such a huge shock to me, but it was such a unique film, and it contained such a remarkable legend. You knew right off the bat that there was more to tell about Candyman. So, watching the second film, I was ready to learn more about this crazy creature. Did I? Well, not really. This second movie essentially is a remake of the first. I mean, yes, it is a continuation of sorts, since they do slightly touch base on the events of the first, but it still mostly rehashes everything done and told in the first. There's an entire section of this movie where they do the same exact exposition as the first movie, explaining Candyman's upbringing, the reason for his being, except this time, it wasn't just told to the main character. This time, they filmed it, so there was more of a visual example. Also, the part of the plot where the main character is searching out a way to kill Candyman, it's okay. I mean, they sort of already killed Candyman in the first movie, and because there are other sequels in this franchise, I know nothing they do in this movie is really gonna kill him. But such is life when it comes down to horror characters, right? They keep dying, they keep coming back. I will at least say their method in this film to attempt to kill Candyman made a little bit more sense than the first, and there was much more of a journey to get to that point than the first as well. So the adventure aspect of the film was actually probably better than the first. What about everything else? Well, I mean, in general, I just feel like this is the penny saver version of Candyman 1, in which everything is still there, it's just not as good. I mean, for instance, the visuals with the practical effects are still there. Primarily, there's a scene in Candyman 2 where his face gets scratched and there's like bees inside and everything, and that's great, but it's basically the only scene that stands out with practical effects. What about Tony Todd's performance? Well, he's great as usual, and his voice gets under your skin, but his dialogue isn't as sharp as it was before. In the first film, he had like a prophetic way of speaking that was so alluring and captivating. You could listen to him for hours, whether you understood what he was saying or not. In this, he mostly said normal things, just in a deeply disturbing way, if that makes any sense. He wasn't as immediately captivating as the first. All in all, I can't say that the movie is bad. It's not. It's essentially the same thing as the first. But almost every aspect of this film was approached better in the first movie. And my end score is ultimately going to reflect that. The only thing that I think was done better for part 2 was, well, a couple things. One was the way they planned to kill Candyman. It actually made sense. The other thing that was actually pretty good here was the history of Candyman. They touched base on it in the first movie, and this went so much deeper, making our main characters in this film actually relevant for Candyman to keep alive for a while. Even looking back to that first movie, it didn't make a ton of sense as to why Candyman kept that main character alive. When you watch it on its own, you don't really question it, but everybody else that calls upon Candyman gets killed almost immediately. Why that woman in the first movie got special treatment, I'm not entirely sure, but I do know why this woman in this film got special treatment. I don't want to get too far deep into that, but it does make sense, and I appreciated that. Anyways, let's go ahead and break down my final score here. From an unbiased, technical perspective, this film is made fine. Nothing absolutely spectacular happens in the film. It has moments here and there that are indeed good, like practical effects and even Philip Glass's iconic score, but they are fleeting moments, nothing that sticks around for a long time. Everything else is essentially business as usual, so this score is 72%. My bias score, or just how I felt about it overall, is pretty much in the same boat. I'm not going to sit here and say that I hated the film or that it's unwatchable. I think it's fine. But at the same time, I can't think of one person that would be like, oh, hey, you know what sounds like a good movie to watch right now? Candyman 2. No way. The only people that will watch this movie will do so on a series rewatch. This score is 72%, meaning that when we combine the two scores together, we come to the final rating of course, 72%, 72 out of 100 possible stars, or a B- letter grade. As a part of my Interpreting the Scares event, I have this ranked somewhere mid-level, right between the first and second Insidious film. So you can see that however you would like, but it's also significantly lower than my score of the first movie. But maybe I'm alone in that. What are your thoughts on Candyman 2? How do you rank it against Candyman 1? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, and until then, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the number